Check it out, check it out now. Vic Mensa. Now, I love doing a news like hip hop channel because while these rappers being their feelings over what I say, I just do a story and move the fuck on to the next thing. Now, admittedly, so me and Vic Mensa won't be sitting around kicking and playing 2K nor watching football on a Sunday, okay? However, listen, man, he's a rapper and I still gotta cover the culture. Now, Vic Mensa had a recent interview, and by the way, Vic Mensa, just from me to you, bro, you're making way too much headlines for your interviews rather than your music. Not a good thing, okay? However, he did do an interview with Billboard recently, and we all know, and by the way, listen, I've noticed for the longest, he's a very militant slash woke slash whatever, very awakened rapper. So he was asked, and he was talking about Lean and Xans and talking about how it's had an effect upon the culture. We all know Lil Peep died recently, and this is what he said because seemingly he called out Future, okay? Listen, he says, basically, man, to be honest, it's like on one hand, I almost don't feel like I have the right to chastise anybody because I fucking done it. I rapped about Xanax. I regret it. I don't rap about it no more. But I have some lines talking about Xanax. I just think we're such in a dangerous place because it's become normalized and the drug abuse has been reduced to a marketing tactic. You got Future talking about, I just rap about drugs because I know that's what sells. That's what people want to hear while people are actually overdosing left and right. It's really representative of the state of the nation, but it's also horribly irresponsible because you got kids that idolize these people and will do anything they do. They're being misled, but they're fucking heroes getting addicted to Xans or perks and dying from them. So it's pretty fucked. Now, this is my problem with Vic Mensa, and I'm glad now I have a lot more information privy to me. I don't look at stuff on service level because I'm just a YouTube commentator. I see what's going on behind the scenes. I see all the relationships people have, and I usually see that there's motives when people say some shit because of their relationships. By the way, let's just point out, first and foremost, he called out Future by name, and yes, we could call out Future, but Vic Mensa calling out Future is no fucking just random name he picked out. Keep in mind, Jay-Z got a problem with Future. Future got a problem with Jay-Z. Roc Nation is Jay-Z's company, which Vic Mensa is signed to, and also he's on tour with Jay-Z. I'm saying, that might be a coincidence, but a little bit too much for me. Speaking of which, Jay-Z has pumped a lot of drugs, or at least promoted a lot of drugs by rapping about it, even though I will give him his credit. He's definitely given us the positive and the negatives, pros and cons while rapping about it. But still, we ain't hear him calling out Jay. He's calling out the guy Jay don't like. Okay, that's off the rip. Secondly, Future is wrong. Future's wrong. I ain't gonna sit here and defend Future. Future basically said, oh yeah, Lean and Xans, I don't even fuck with them type of joints. Perks, I don't fuck with that. I don't take drugs, period. Now, let me get the devil's advocate, all right? Did y'all expect Future to say he does fuck with Lean, Xans, and Percocets as he does in his records? Keep in mind when he came out and he said that he doesn't take drugs as is portrayed in his music, he was fighting for custody of his kids. Okay, which retarded nigga is gonna go in court and say, yeah, I've been rapping about killing niggas, I'm a real killer. You're a fucking idiot. No judge will give you custody of your kids. Or if Future said, yeah, I know y'all got lyrics about me rapping about Lean, Xans, and Perks. Oh, of course, I'm a drug addict. Nobody's gonna give him custody of his kids. So he has to denounce the drugs in court. That's really around the time when he denounced using drugs. Now, from what I've heard, Future's on drugs. Okay, now, is he always as strung out as his music makes him seem? That's debatable, but him acting like he don't take drugs, period, bullshit, okay? He said that just to fucking angle and for him to go in court, all right? Now, this is where the hypocrisy comes in for Vic Mensa. And by the way, again, I'm not knocking his point. I thought he had a very dope point. I just think him singling out Future was a little bit suspect, and also him going at this issue was a little bit suspect because it feels like he always criticizes niggas that's into some shit that he's not into, okay? Even if they're rapping about their own life, okay? Whether it's good or bad. Niggas go through ups and downs. He's going through a lot of mental shit. He went through a lot of drug use, and when he was rapping about it, it was cool. He says he's not proud of it, whatever, but nobody was calling him out then. Now he's out here on a fucking pedestal, on a soapbox, calling everybody else out. Okay? Lil Peep, when he rapping about drugs, clearly, or singing about drugs, he was going through something. That was a cry out for help. It's a fucking cry out for help. Now, maybe also like fucking packaged as a marketing ploy, but he was crying out for help. So for him to just act like anybody rapping about drug use isn't crying out for help and only using that to like market their music, I think that's a little bit hypocritical, because when he was putting forth that in his music, I didn't look at his music like, yo, you're only rapping about this to sell records. It felt like you were rapping about some shit you were really going through. So for him to kind of chalk up anybody else doing it now as a marketing ploy, a little hypocritical to me. Now, with all that being said, he had a great point, and I'm not going to knock his point despite whatever he feel about me. He had a great point. There are certain niggas up in the game who are basically only pushing that I'm strung out on drug angle just to sell records. They know they got a bunch of fiends or people who idolize drugs, because that's like the new thing. Idolize taking drugs or being able to take all type of drugs and being able to be living off the Xans or the Molly or the fucking perks. So clearly he's talking to them. I agree with that. I just had to point out the hypocrisy. But overall, I would say I agree with his message. I just had to point out those little parts where I do not agree. Okay? Get a comment, make sure you guys like them and subscribe. Oh, by the way, I don't know if y'all know, my mumble rap tape is coming soon. I would like to extend an invitation to Vic Mensa. Listen, man, it's all about parody. It's all about satire. And while you look too serious to take a joke, I would love for you to be on my mumble rap tape. You could diss me. I could diss you. Same song. Let's get it popping. As long as the people enjoy it. It's all for fun, okay? Y'all niggas need to lighten up. Vic Mensa one of them niggas. He don't look like he smiling too much. Lighten up, nigga, okay? Get a comment, make sure you guys like and subscribe to Akademiks. Come on.